Welcome, welcome to another edition of Corona Chronicles Live. I'm so excited to be here today with you all. Happy Tuesday. Today is a celebration. This is why I have this particular headband on. Today is my daughter Faith's ninth birthday, and she is one of 15. She is actually number 14. So 14 out of the 15th. And today she is 9 years old. So we are celebrating that. So while we are waiting on my guest who is going to be joining us today, I just thought I'd get on here and get started with the party for today. So I am America's Supermom. That name is because my husband and I have 15 children. And if you hear some background noise, that's what's going on. They are preparing for a little birthday celebration, and we're really excited. This is the day that we really dedicate going all out for one of their siblings, because it's their special day. So we are excited about that. And not only is it my daughter's birthday, but it is my guest's birthday also. So Karla is joining us. So I am going to have her come on now. Happy birthday!
Thank you so much. Thank
Had to
you.
celebrate. You know what I mean? Everything is virtual. So, we got to, step it up a notch when it comes to celebrating. Okay.
I love it. Love it. And it is so awesome to be on with you today on my birthday and just period. It could have been any day and it would have been a celebration, but today I feel extremely honored.
Yes. So, we are just going to get right into it because you are busy, busy, busy as well as myself. And so, first, just tell everybody a little bit about you and before we get into the interview.
Excellent. So I am Karla Aghetto. I am an attorney by trade, a wife, a mother of two busy little boys, with number 3 on the way. We're due at the middle of next month with our first little girl. And I'm now a wellness curator with Houston Wellness Workshops for Women. I do wellness coaching and I curate wellness experiences, information, and resources for professional women who want to reclaim their power through wellness.
I love that. And, this is definitely an appropriate topic for right now because, we're approaching the holidays. Some people, this is a sad time for them. They've lost family members and things like that. So, wellness is so important. And then just my personal story dealing with depression for 13 years, a lot of people don't even realize what life looks like without depression. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, how did you get started into this?
Yes. So Houston Wellness Workshops for Women officially launched in August of 2019 after I hit what I call wellness wall in June of 2019. I was sort of flying high that year. I was both. I started the year deciding that this would be the year I would do work with me as the priority. For years. At that point, I'd been practicing for 9 years in a big law firm, 2,500 lawyers around the world, 500 in the office I started in. I moved to our Houston office in August of 2017, where we had about 40 lawyers. So that was a cultural difference in and of itself. But at the same time, I was, relatively senior and on that cusp of whether I'm supposed to advance or keep grinding or find somewhere else to be, right? But when I came into 2019, I said to myself, I'm going to do this job with me as the priority, which includes my husband and my family. What it is not is making this job my God and having it be the main driving force and everything else has to fit in. No, this year I'm doing this with me as the priority.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like, if they still like me, that's good. Great data. And if they don't, that's also helpful data. Right. So going into the end of May, I noticed, and I have to drop this for you. I noticed that I had billed more than twice as much at that point as I had at the same point the year before. And as a lawyer, that just means I'm working really hard and I'm able to bill the client for my time. You know, in that environment, you don't get paid for sitting in your desk, showing up. Sometimes you don't get paid for being on a phone call. You don't get paid for checking your email. Okay. What we're billing the clients for, things clients are willing to pay for. And so that means that if I did a week of 60 hours, hopefully I can bill 40 hours out of that. Okay. So that's part of the reason why the weeks and days get long, because there's an efficiency issue, you know, that you have to develop, that each moment of your time needs to be billable, which makes you anxious, which is always on your mind, which is why you check emails when you wake up to go to the bathroom at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Just standard procedure, weekends, all that. Okay. So, but I noticed that at that point I had billed more than twice as much as I had that same point last year. I'd also taken more vacation time, like twice as much vacation time as I had by that point the year before as well. So that was data that said when you step away and you take the rest, you actually come back stronger, faster, more efficient, more effective, and frankly, more invested.
Wow.
Right?
That's good. You know, and to be able to have that foresight, because how many of us are feeling like, you know, like you mentioned before, on that wheel of I gotta show this, I gotta show that, and you know, you don't even have the bandwidth to take that time to reflect. Just you mentioning how you looked at the year before, who does that really? You know, who really has time?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But let's be clear, when you're in an industry where everything is the numbers, it wasn't
Right.
that hard to pull the numbers.
Right.
You
I
know?
know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to have the mind to even think, let me just, you know, take some time to compare the two. You know, we
Exactly.
really are so busy caught up in chasing this or chasing that, that we just don't even think about something as simple as looking at the numbers, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I
That
wanted to share that because to me, that's really important data on this idea of slowing down to speed up.
I
Oh,
love that.
yes. You know,
Now,
take
so when you say you're being intentional, because this is important, a lot of us think, oh, yeah, we're doing the right thing. But what was it comparing those 2 years? So we see the numbers were pretty much the same. Your vacation was different. You were taking more time for you. But every day, what did that look like? What kind of questions did you ask yourself to keep that focus about making yourself a priority?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have to I have to admit I didn't have a super strategic plan at
Mhm,
that point for how I was going to make myself a priority.
mhm.
You know, I don't have the plan that I have now that I'm
Right.
on this side of the wellness wall,
Mhm,
but it was taking my family on the vacation,
mhm,
including my parents, you know, and my boys.
mhm,
It was getting into the gym and making that a daily commitment.
mhm.
Um, And those are the two things that I definitely remember from that time. The
I
plan,
love.
yeah, yeah. The plan has expanded a lot since then.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, I thought that was very important to note that. So we get to the beginning of June, you
Mhm,
know, where I have ramped up in April and May,
mhm,
trying to pick up speed, trying to decide whether I'm going for, you know, counsel or partnership, which is, you know, promotion within the firm, or whether I need to be making my move out. And the beginning of June, I finally booked an appointment with a primary care physician. I hadn't had a primary care physician in years. Okay. Besides moving to it. Uh-oh. Am I still with you? Did my internet kind of stop us a little bit? Um, Hopefully you can hear me. Um, so besides moving to a new town, I also had two little boys. And, you know, those moms out there can relate that your care starts to focus on the kids and anything related to the pregnancy. And sometimes the whole primary care, basic care thing just kind of goes to the wayside. So basically, I scheduled that appointment. By the time I got to the appointment, I could not speak. My throat was so inflamed that I literally could not talk to this primary care physician on our first appointment. So this initial assessment and physical became a well visit. And it turns out that I had a major infection, required emergency surgery, and I went out on leave. And during that leave is when I really had the opportunity to pull out a checklist of things related to my wellness that needed to be taken care of, including mental health therapy, including seeing a dietitian, including getting a sleep study, all these things that had been backburnered for so long. I was able to take care of those things during this time. And I was also able to reflect on my values and what's important. Okay. And so during that time, it became clear to me that wellness needed to be more of a priority for me in my life, in order for this thing to still be sustainable. So yeah, that's basically what happened. Essentially, I came out of the leave, went back to the office, and also wanted to share what I had learned during my time with other women so that they could be empowered to be successful and effective in their careers by leveraging wellness. So
Actually, you're live. You were live the whole time.
Okay, great. Excellent. Girl, so I kept talking.
I have a new co-host. Hey.
People know the whole story now. You missed it. Okay? You missed all the good parts.
I love it. Gotta love the internet. Just a little sidebar. We do have 8 kids doing e-learning. So think about that bandwidth when it comes to router and all that kind of stuff, which I have no clue.
So 5 of them just got kicked out of their math class?
Right. You know what I'm
saying? Get off. Mama's working. Get off. You can catch up on this later.
So, you got to love it. All right. Absolutely. So those are the joys of parenting.
Absolutely.
Just catch me up to speed. Where were you concluding now so I can answer?
Yep. I ended up having to have an emergency surgery at the beginning of June. I went out on leave. I really was out of the office for a total of about 6 weeks between figuring out what was wrong with me and then actually getting treated and recovery. And during that time, I had the opportunity to really reflect on my values, what's important to me, right? My mental health therapist told me that I had to take a retreat at least every 2 months, no more than every 3, because of the amount of stress and responsibility that I dealt with on my job. So I was like, well, I have a prescription for quarterly retreats. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Right?
That's awesome.
And instead of taking that and going and sitting down somewhere, I was like, I'm going to start a business where I do quarterly retreats for women like me.
What a blessing. That's awesome.
So that's how Houston Wellness Workshops for Women started. And I really did use workshops in there because I was encouraged by some of the women giving me feedback to have a series of events, including smaller, more accessible, less expensive events, maybe with less time, but still focused on wellness, versus what I envisioned, which was at least 2 nights, 3 days at the most gorgeous, luxurious spas around the world.
I love that.
So basically what I do is a mix of that. It's awesome. Yeah, it's the workshops, it's the networking events, it's also the retreats. And as you can imagine, a little bit of what I do has shifted during COVID. And that's the setup for the next part of our talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was going to say before we go to the next part is building up your values into your daily schedule or
Absolutely.
quarterly schedule. I love that. So it's
Absolutely.
like, hey, if you're going to do something, you're going to take people right along with you. And
Yes.
that's the part that I love
Yes.
because, we have to create a support group and that accountability in there at the same time. So if
Absolutely.
you want to work on your weight, join in a gym, because you have that accountability, that trainer or whoever is going to say, hey, we missed you. Where were you on Thursday or whatever?
Yes.
So the fact that you built that in to make sure that you did honor that time that you need to take off, I think that's commendable.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
moving on to part two, we're getting ready
Yes.
for a new year and building for a better way, right? That's going
Mm-hmm.
to be our lead in.
Ooh.
So now we are team members. We
Yes.
met just, through Zoom and planning this interview. And then since then, so much has happened. So talk to us about, what things look like for you in 2021. What are you building right now?
Woo, girl. 2021. I do want to say that I believe there are gold nuggets on the ground in 2020.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure that we are not skipping over
I love
the
this.
next month and a half
Mhm.
in our hopes to escape 2020 and just get to 2021. I don't
Right.
believe in escapism. I
Mhm.
believe that we've got to gird up our loins and
Mhm.
be in the fight that we're in now and see prosperity in this season.
I love that.
I
Mhm.
admit, though, that I do have another reason why I'm so laser focused on these next 4 weeks because I
Mhm.
have a baby coming exactly 4 weeks from today.
Right.
So my deadlines are imposed, okay?
Right.
And I
Right.
and I feel like for these next 4 weeks, I've got big goals. I've got plenty
Mhm.
to do. I've got
Mhm.
launches to do. I've got teams to build. I've got events to host in these
Mhm.
next 4 weeks. You hear me,
Mhm.
honey?
Yeah,
So, but in
I love it.
2021,
Mhm.
I would like to become Texas's supermom since you already hold the America's supermom title.
Okay.
Uh, I'm kidding. I'm not
Super
going
Mom Club. Hey,
to.
let's do it, girl. Let's do.
Yeah,
Hey,
actually,
I'm sure we would get a lot of members for the Super Mom Club.
right, right,
Okay.
right.
So
Actually,
that
I'm
definitely
not
would
going
work.
for super status anymore. I will be the neighborhood super mom. Okay, maybe even this street. Okay, this street, Clinton Drive. But super status, I'm good.
Okay.
But no, the goal is to um, build out the membership for
Mhm.
Houston Wellness Workshops for Women.
Mhm.
It is to consistently do those quarterly retreats at a minimum,
Mhm.
right? Because now I'm also partnering with other organizations. So I've now hosted 3 retreats as H3W. One of them was in person in March, the last weekend that anything could be done.
Wow.
Okay. It
Mhm.
was amazing, beautiful, wonderful. And then, right, COVID-19. But I've since hosted 2 virtual women's wellness retreats that have been a beautiful success. And
Mhm.
I've also done 2 more virtual wellness retreats with organizations that invited me to be their host. And so in that situation, they are technically they're the ones inviting and it's exclusive, a closed event, and I'm delivering the experience. So
Mm.
in 2021, I want to have H3W host at least quarterly retreats, which was
Mhm.
always the vision in the prescription, right? And
Mhm.
we can and will do them virtually with gladness. We're no
Mhm.
longer regrettably in virtual environment. No,
Right.
we're excitedly, affirmatively, and intentionally in a virtual environment.
Mhm.
And then I also am open to and excited about partnering with other organizations that want to do this with me and provide that experience for their constituents.
I love
Um,
that.
thank you. I'm also going to be actively building clients in my law firm.
Mm.
Yes, which has existed for over a year,
Mhm.
or at
Mhm.
least since the end of March.
Mhm.
But I have not really come out and
Mhm.
said, hey, I have a law firm, and I'm open for business. I do
Mm-hmm.
have clients. I've served those clients faithfully. They get great service from me. Um, but now it's time for me to open my doors sort of officially and say I'm open to new clients. And
I
that's a
love
big project. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big project. So
Mm-hmm. But
um
you can do it, girl.
thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're on a team together with a better way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm laser focused on these next 4 weeks because it makes sense for that to be focused on the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that people are able to send out beautiful, amazing cards during the holidays, touch
Mm-hmm.
points for clients and family,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you have a business, you're building a business, building a brand, it just makes sense to do that professional, personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the 4 week horizon for me, right?
That is
Before,
awesome.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that's so encouraging because so many people, just as you said, they write off 2020 because, there are a lot of things that we had to really grow in a short amount of time. I
yeah,
feel like I've been stretched like back in the day, there was this cartoon, Stretch Man, or I don't
uh-huh.
know, Plastic Man or something.
Yes,
I feel like that's what I've been going through,
yes,
pulled and tugged and stretched everywhere that I could go. And, with that, there still is time for us to stop and slow down and strategically leverage and prepare for 2021. So I
absolutely.
love that.
Yeah,
Even though you're in the midst of 4 weeks until a new baby,
yep,
you still have a mindset to slow down and leverage and plan in a way that's going to move you forward. So I just
absolutely. Yeah,
now, and you have all the reason to be like, how we're
I
gonna
know,
do it.
girl. I
So
know.
how do you get yourself in that mindset to be focused as you are?
Well, to be fair, one more real quick thing, a little nugget. Um,
Mhm.
there's a new girl named Elastigirl from The
Mhm.
Incredibles. Have you seen The Incredibles?
You know what? I've kind of breezed through it because
Right.
my kids watch it and I fall asleep, girl.
Right.
That's
Well, I just wanted to bring you into the newer decade so you don't have to
right.
make any references to some dude way back there.
I
Elastigirl.
love it, girl. I
Okay.
love
She
it. I'm writing
stretches.
that down.
Yeah.
It's the truth, though. I'm telling you, I love when these new movies come out.
Yeah.
And so when we went to The Incredibles 2, because it was a long time before
Yeah.
the second one came
Right.
out. And it was so hard to get in. So we went to the theater thinking that we were going to go to the 4 o'clock show. We get there, that was sold out. So we had to go to the 6 o'clock show or something. I don't know. I might be getting the times wrong. We might have went at 6. It ended up being at 9. Well, anyway, we stayed there because it was like, okay, we're just gonna stay there. We got to find a parking spot and all this. So, needless to say, by the time we got in there, I'm asleep before the movie gets started. That's the best sleep. Okay. Every new kids movie that comes out, I am out like a light. Okay. So that's my secret.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. You said,
Best sleep.
how do you stay focused to be able
Mhm.
to accomplish this?
Yes.
I'm a doer.
Mhm.
Admittedly, I'm more interested in action than planning.
Mm.
So we can count it as a weakness, but I basically it's also one of my strengths,
Mhm.
to execute.
Yeah.
You know, and
Mhm.
so oftentimes I don't leave time for the launch. And I'm learning
Mhm.
that as an entrepreneur, you gotta launch, you gotta sizzle, you gotta get people
Mhm.
excited, get them thinking about and looking forward to, right?
Mhm.
So I could work on that. But
Mhm.
since I am a doer and I am about that action, right? Then
Mhm.
I'm stepping up
Yeah.
pretty much to all the opportunities that make sense, that are
Mhm.
consistent with my brand. And
Mhm.
so it's working. I for the next 4 weeks, I'm in execution mode.
I love that.
I really am.
Mhm.
And
And
I'm
so
looking.
many people, they have that fear that stops
Mhm,
them there.
exactly.
So being like you said, you might think it's a weakness, but if you have the right team, you can be ready to execute, and all that stuff is the nuts and bolts that you really don't like to deal with, but you still can be in your zone of genius and make your
Absolutely.
mark and get everything you need done. So I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm also a creative. And so I
Mhm.
am constantly thinking of new ideas.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, yeah, and I'm
Mhm.
thankfully willing to try. And I do think that, my decade in big law, as a lawyer, and I
Mhm.
am a lawyer, by the way. That's not going to change. But within the halls of the firm, I
Mhm.
feel like I was hiding from my true being, which is a relatively high risk tolerance.
Mhm.
And being a faith walker, I think is the best way to sum it up. And I
Mhm.
do not feel like I was walking in or exercising true faith during that time.
I see.
And so while that was lucrative and comfortable and all the bills got paid,
Mhm.
it wasn't consistent with me.
Right.
Really does want to move in faith
Mhm.
and move forward. We don't
Mhm.
need to pontificate about this too long. Let's move out.
I love that. So this has just been great, girl. Been lots of nuggets. I'm at to go back and watch the replay because I love taking notes. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And when I'm recording, it's like, well, you got to have eye contact. You can't be over here doing whatever. So, what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you, join your team, attend some of your wellness retreats? What's the
Yeah. Thank you so much. So I feel like I've done a strong job of building a community on Facebook.
Mhm.
And you can find us at Houston Wellness Workshops for Women. So
Okay.
it's www.facebook.com/H3W Houston Wellness Workshops for Women.
Okay.
Yes, that is long, but it's
Mhm.
also very specific. And it's descriptive.
Mhm. Yeah, right
Yeah.
to the point. Yeah.
I'm also on Instagram as Karla J. Agetto.
Mhm.
And I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
You can find me as Karla Agetto. Basically, just search this name, and there aren't that many of us. So those are really the three platforms that are the best way to follow me. And I'm just grateful for what I'm able to do in this season of my life.
Mhm.
I'm grateful to be talking about wellness, promoting wellness. I'm one of the little chunky chicks, right? You can look at me and see this is not just pregnancy. My nose is twice as wide as it normally is. Okay. But, I'm not your picture perfect, thin girl. I'm
Mhm.
a real girl,
Mhm.
making real changes.
Mhm.
And I'm very focused on wellness.
I
Fitness is
love
part of
that.
that, right? But
Mhm.
it's not the whole story.
I
Self
love that.
care is part of that, but it's not the whole story.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Wonderful. Well,
yeah,
we are so excited for you to be here today, and thank you so much for all your nuggets. And it's a celebration, y'all. So you might want to reach out to Karla, tell her happy birthday. You might want to send her a gift card for that new baby that's on the way. We are virtual.
all
So
right.
that way you can send it virtually and it just be a blessing. And it's her first daughter. So you can to get those little girl clothes. So, hey, if any of those things resonate with you, hit her up, okay?
Thank you,
But
Michelle.
we want to thank you for sharing with us and so excited. And we definitely going to have you come back when that baby comes so we can see her.
Excellent. That would be
All
awesome.
right. Well, you guys have a great day. Thanks again for watching us, and we will see y'all the next time.